Welcome back to the third part of this tutorial now, in which we're gonna create our Lambda function and just use the AWS services. So if we want to create a Lambda function, we first of all have to create one. For that, we have to sign in with our Amazon Web Services account. I'm gonna do this right now. We'll be right back. So when you logged in, you're probably gonna come to this site or something similar. And what you're gonna do on this site is just type in here or here Lambda. And Lambda is gonna be used for our backend server. So we're gonna click on Lambda here. And what you should see now is an empty list or the dashboard, one of both. Just go ahead, click on function, and create a new function right here at the top. Click that, and now we have to select following. This is in German, I'm gonna translate it. Just take an empty project, change the name of the project, or set the name of the project to tutorial function, and we have to also change the language we are gonna program with. So we're gonna program with .NET Core 2.1 C#. Just select that by clicking on it, and that should be it. You should also just go down here and select a role that has Lambda execution permissions, because if that's not the case, you're not gonna be able to do a Lambda function or to even start a Lambda function. So make sure that when you click down here, you go to roles, or let's do this now. So I'm gonna click right down there at this small blue X. I'm gonna go to this role and add a role, add a guideline or something like that, it's probably called, and add just the administrator guideline by selecting it right on the left side. So when you save it, it should something like this: administrator access and AWS Lambda basic execution role. If you don't have this, that's not that bad, because if you have administrator access, you probably have access to everything. But I'm just gonna remind you right here, because that's a common issue that many people have. So now that you have a role and you have the permissions that you need, we're just gonna do everything like this and click create function. This is obviously gonna take a moment, depending on your internet and also depending on how the servers are currently busy. In my case, this was pretty fast, and you're gonna see pretty load here. Don't be scared of everything that is here. Just concentrate on the things that I'm gonna show you now. This is our Lambda function, and we want the function to be called when we call the skill. So when we say Alexa start tutorial, this Lambda function should be called. But how do we create a connection between the skill that we created and the Lambda function? That is, to be honest, pretty easy. We're just gonna add a trigger here by clicking on this. Gonna click in this drop down and select Alexa skills kit. By clicking this, you should activate the qualification ID, and here the Lambda function is expecting an ID. We're gonna find this ID in our Alexa skill. So just to find this ID, we're gonna click on endpoint, make sure we check AWS Lambda, and then we have here our skill ID. I'm gonna blur it out, but you can copy it to clipboard by clicking copy to clipboard. So let's copy this and go back to our Lambda function, just paste it in here right here and say add. With this, we connected now our skill to our Lambda function. So that means that if we say now Alexa start tutorial, this would call the function and do what the function should, well, what should happen when we start a tutorial app. But this logic is not implemented yet. So we have a connection now, we can upload logic, but we don't have the logic yet. We're gonna do this in the next step. But first of all, we also have to add an endpoint now to to our skill, because we have a one-way connection, but we don't have a connection back. So what we have now is, when we call the skill, this function is called, but this function can't return anything to our skill back because this connection is not available. So what we have to do is just go back up here. Here we have an ARN. We're gonna copy this by clicking on those symbols here and go back to our Alexa skill and put in the default region to this ARN that we just copied from our Lambda function. And because I'm in North America, in North Virginia with this Lambda function, I'm gonna add it also to North America. This is not necessary, but just do it to be sure. When you've done this, save the endpoints by clicking up here. And now we have a bidirectional communication to the skill and back to the Lambda function. So what we're gonna do now is set up our first Lambda function. And for that, I'm gonna probably pause this video right here. And we're gonna do this in a separate video. So see you soon.